The first thing I remember is the noise, the endless hum of machines, and the steady beeping that matched the rhythm of my heart. The air smelled sterile, sharp with antiseptic. My phone lay beside me on the metal tray, screen dim but still glowing with missed calls. 6 to Mom, 4 to Dad. None answered. At first, I assumed they were asleep. Then I checked the time mid-afternoon. I tried again, straight to voicemail. I asked the nurse if she could call for me. She did. Still nothing. Hours passed before my phone buzzed with a message from my mother. We're in the middle of something with your sister. She's having a meltdown over the paint colors. Can this wait? I read that message over and over before I let out a short laugh that turned into a cough. Blood spattered onto white sheets. 2 days earlier, a truck had run a red light and hit my car head-on. The sound of tearing metal still echoes in my mind. They told me later that when they pulled me out, I was barely conscious. Lungs collapsed, ribs shattered, internal bleeding. They said I was lucky to be alive. It didn't feel like luck. I spent those days in the ICU alone. No visits, no calls, just the machines keeping me company and a nurse who asked gently, "Your parents haven't come yet?" I just shook my head. But someone did come, my lawyer, Denise. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. I called her from my hospital bed between morphine doses. My voice was weak but steady enough. I need make some changes. To my will, to the company. She came within the hour. Professional, precise, not a word wasted. Papers were signed, signatures shaky but sure. When she asked, "You're certain about this?" I nodded without hesitation. My sister Lily had always been a fragile one, emotional, unpredictable, and somehow the sun around which my parents orbited. If she cried, the world stopped. If she wanted something, we made it happen. And me? I was a provider, the fixer, the one they never really saw. I paid for the house they lived in, the school she graduated from, the vacations they posted about. Yet affection was reserved for the one who broke down over color palettes while I bled in a hospital bed. They showed up on day 5. I heard my mother's voice echoing down the hallway, far too loud for the sterile quiet. "Oh, sweetheart, we came as soon as we could." I looked up, smiled faintly. "Did you get the paint colors sorted out?" She blinked, confused. "What?" "That's what you were busy with, right?" I asked, watching her face shift from confusion to guilt. My father cleared his throat. "Now's not the time." "You're right," I said softly. "It's not." That evening, after they left to talk to the doctor, I asked the nurse to wheel me to the hospital garden. The air was cool, smelling faintly of rain. Denise was waiting near the fountain, a folder in hand. "Everything's ready," she said quietly. "Good," I replied. "Do you want them to know now?" "Not yet," I told her. "They'll find out soon enough. Revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes silence and ink do the job better. During recovery, I didn't reach out. When they called, I replied politely, briefly. They thought everything was fine. They thought we were moving past it. 3 months later, I returned to the office. The staff clapped, the air filled with smiles and congratulations. What they didn't know was that I wasn't just the CEO anymore, I was the sole owner. While lying in that hospital bed, I had rewritten everything. The company that once belonged equally to me, my parents, and Lily was now completely under my control. The shares they had transferred for tax purposes were now part of trust Denise had built, airtight, untouchable. Even the deed to their house was now legally mine. The truth came out over dinner. They'd invited me over, try and pretend everything was normal. My mother had made roast lamb, the same way she always did when she wanted to smooth things over. "We've missed you," she said, smiling too brightly. I poured wine into my glass and cut her off gently. "Let's skip to the part where you ask why the company accounts are empty." Her fork froze midair. My father looked up, frowning. "What are you talking about?" he asked. "I'm talking about ownership," I said, leaning back. "About how you signed away everything 3 months ago. Remember those papers I asked you to notarize while I was still in the hospital? You didn't even read them. You just signed, like you always do when I ask nicely." Their faces changed slowly, confusion, realization, then fear. For once, I didn't feel invisible. I simply smiled, took another sip of wine, and said, "Don't worry. I won't throw you out. Not yet." The silence that followed was heavier than any beeping machine I'd heard in that hospital. And for the first time in my life, I felt seen, not as the background son, not as a reliable one, but as someone who finally decided that being ignored has consequences.